Fear is a liar, and the biggest mistake you can make is sitting down and negotiating with it like it has authority over your life. It doesn't, but it feels real, doesn't it? It feels powerful when you're about to take that step, when you're about to speak up, when you're about to chase something bigger than yourself. That voice creeps in and starts planting doubt. What if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you're not enough? And if you're not careful, you'll start believing it. You'll start shrinking. You'll start choosing safety over growth, comfort over purpose. But listen carefully, fear is not truth. It's a reaction. It's your mind trying to protect you from discomfort, not guide you towards success. And if you let it control you, you'll spend your whole life playing small, watching opportunities pass you by, knowing deep down you were capable of more. See, fear wants you to hesitate. It wants you to wait until everything is perfect, but perfection never comes. It wants you to delay, to doubt, to overthink until the moment is gone. That's how it wins, not by force, but by convincing you to stop yourself. And that's why you've got to flip the script. Instead of listening to fear, you've got to start questioning it. Ask yourself, is this real, or is this just my comfort zone talking? Because most of the time, it's not danger you're facing, it's growth. It's unfamiliar territory. It's the next level calling your name, and fear doesn't like that because growth requires change, and change is uncomfortable. But let me tell you something, everything you want in life is on the other side of that discomfort. So why are you letting a feeling dictate your future? Why are you giving something so temporary so much control over something so permanent? You've got to stop asking fear for permission. You don't need it. You weren't born to be controlled by doubt. You were built to take risks, to learn, to fall, to rise, and to keep moving forward no matter what. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about moving even when fear is screaming in your ear. It's about saying, I hear you, but you don't decide for me. That's power. That's how you take your life back, because the truth is, fear will always show up. New level, new fear. Bigger dream, bigger doubt. That's part of the journey. But the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is simple. One listens to fear, the other moves anyway. So stop negotiating. Stop giving fear a seat at the table. It doesn't belong there. You've got dreams to chase, goals to hit, a life to build. And none of that is going to happen if you keep letting fear lead. Take control, make the decision. Move forward even if your voice shakes, even if your steps feel uncertain. Because at the end of the day, fear only has the power you give it. And today is the day you take that power back. You keep saying you want more out of life, you want success, growth, elevation, but let me ask you something real. Are you truly ready to be uncomfortable? Because the truth is, everything you're asking for lives outside your comfort zone, and fear is the gatekeeper standing right at the entrance. Most people see fear and run in the opposite direction, back to what's familiar, back to what's easy, back to what feels safe. But safety is a trap when it stops you from growing. That comfort zone you love so much, it's not protecting you, it's limiting you. It's keeping your potential locked away while you convince yourself you're waiting for the right time. There is no right time. There is only now, and fear will always try to convince you that now isn't it. That nervous feeling in your chest when you're about to try something new, when you're about to step into a bigger version of yourself, that's not a warning to stop, that's a signal that you're about to grow. But growth isn't pretty, growth is uncomfortable. Growth stretches you, tests you, exposes your weaknesses, and forces you to confront every doubt you've been hiding from. And that's exactly why so many people avoid it. They'd rather stay in a place where they feel in control than step into a space where they might fail. But listen, failure is part of the process. You don't get stronger by staying comfortable. You get stronger by pushing through resistance. Every time you face fear and move forward anyway, you expand your limits. You build resilience. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. And that confidence, it doesn't come from thinking about success. It comes from taking action despite fear. See, the problem isn't that you're afraid. Everybody is afraid. The difference is how you respond to it. Do you let it stop you, or do you use it as fuel? Do you shrink, or do you rise? Because fear is going to show up every time you're about to level up. That's how you know you're on the edge of something great. If it doesn't scare you, it's probably not big enough. So instead of avoiding fear, start embracing it. Start seeing it as part of the journey, as proof that you're stepping into something meaningful. Train your mind to say, this is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because nothing extraordinary ever came from staying in a comfort zone. You've got to be willing to feel awkward, to feel uncertain, to feel like you don't have it all figured out, because that's where transformation happens. That's where you discover your strength. That's where you build the mindset of a winner. So don't wait until you feel ready. You'll be waiting forever. Start now, step out, take the risk. Bet on yourself even when your confidence is low, because the more you act, the more your confidence will grow. And one day, the things that once terrified you will become second nature. But it all starts with a decision to stop letting fear keep you comfortable and start letting it push you toward the life you were meant to live. Fear only wins when you stay still. Understand that clearly. It doesn't have the power to physically stop you. It doesn't have the strength to hold you down, but it has mastered one thing, convincing you to pause. And that pause, that hesitation, that I'll do it tomorrow mindset, that's where fear takes control. You start overthinking, replaying every possible outcome in your mind, imagining failure before you've even taken the first step. And before you know it, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and you're still in the same place, not because you couldn't move, but because you didn't. That's how fear operates. It doesn't need to destroy you. It just needs to delay you long enough that you start doubting yourself. But here's the truth you need to lock into your mind. Action kills fear, not thinking, not planning, not waiting action. You don't need a perfect strategy. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to move. Because the moment you take that first step, something shifts. That overwhelming fear you felt, it starts to shrink. That doubt that felt so loud, it begins to quiet down. Why? Because you've interrupted the cycle. Fear feeds on inaction, but it starves when you move. Even the smallest step forward is a declaration that fear does not control you. And here's what most people don't realize: confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build. You build it by doing the things that scare you again and again until they lose their power over you. The first time will feel hard. The second time might still feel uncomfortable. But by the third, the fourth, the fifth time, you start to realize something powerful. You're stronger than your fear. You've been giving it too much credit. See, people think successful individuals are fearless, but that's not true. They feel fear just like everyone else. The difference is they don't let it stop them. They've trained themselves to act despite it. They've made movement a habit, and that's what you've got to do. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. Stop telling yourself you'll start when you feel ready, because readiness comes from starting. You've got to break the cycle of hesitation. When you feel fear, that's your signal to move, not retreat. When your mind starts making excuses, that's when you take action the fastest. Because the longer you wait, the stronger fear becomes, but the faster you act, the weaker it gets. You don't have to conquer everything at once. Just focus on the next step. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you've built momentum. And momentum is powerful. It carries you forward even when motivation fades. So don't underestimate the power of starting small, of taking imperfect action, of moving even when it's uncomfortable. Because every step you take is proof that you are in control, not your fear. And once you truly understand that, once you experience it for yourself, fear will never have the same hold on you again. Your purpose is bigger than your fear, but the question is, are you going to choose it? Because every single day you're standing at a crossroads. On one side there's fear, doubt, hesitation, insecurity, the voice that tells you to play it safe, to stay where it's comfortable, to avoid the risk. And on the other side there's your purpose, the life you dream about, the goals you've set, the impact you're meant to make. But here's the reality. You cannot fully walk toward your purpose while holding onto your fear. At some point, you've got to decide which one matters more. Fear will always try to feel bigger in the moment. It will magnify the risks, exaggerate the failures, and make you believe that stepping forward is more dangerous than staying still. But what it won't show you is the cost of inaction. It won't show you the regret of not trying, the frustration of knowing you had more inside you but never gave it a chance to come out. That's the hidden price of letting fear control you. See, purpose requires sacrifice. It requires you to step into uncertainty, to take risks without guarantees, to keep going even when you're unsure of the outcome. And yes, that's scary, but it's also necessary. Because anything meaningful, anything truly worth having, will demand that you grow into a stronger version of yourself. And you cannot grow if you keep shrinking every time fear shows up. You've got something inside you that the world needs. Your ideas, your energy, your vision, your voice. But fear will try to convince you that it's not enough, that you're not ready, that someone else is better. Don't believe that. That's the same lie it's been telling you all along. The truth is, you don't need to have everything figured out to start walking in your purpose. You just need to be willing to take the first step and trust that you'll figure the rest out along the way. Purpose is not about perfection. It's about progression. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and refusing to quit even when things get hard. And they will get hard. There will be moments when fear gets loud again, when doubt creeps back in, when you question whether you're capable. But that's when you've got to remind yourself why you started. You've got to reconnect with that deeper reason, that fire inside you that refuses to settle for an average life. Because when your why is strong enough, fear becomes smaller. It doesn't disappear, but it loses its power over your decisions. You start moving with intention instead of hesitation. You start choosing growth over comfort, action over excuses. And that's when everything changes. That's when you begin to step into who you were meant to be. So don't let fear write your story. Don't let it decide how far you go or how big you dream. This is your life, your journey, your purpose. And it deserves more than hesitation. It deserves commitment, courage, and relentless action. Choose your purpose every single day, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when fear is right there trying to pull you back. Because at the end of the day, fear is temporary, but the life you build when you push past it, that's permanent.